Welcome to another video of the Azure Migrate series, covering the demo of the tool and its capabilities. In this video, we will show you how to lift and shift or rehost your servers to Azure. This approach helps organizations quickly reduce their data center footprint and achieve immediate cost savings. Our newly designed end-to-end experience is built to guide you through your migration journey in an organized and systematic way. Across the migration journey of decide, plan, and execute, this video focuses on the execute phase, specifically replication and migration of servers, both single server and at scale. You can migrate servers in a couple of ways. Azure Migrate offers a comprehensive suite of tools designed to facilitate the migration of various workloads from on-premises environments to the Azure cloud. This includes support for agentless migration for VMware and Hyper-V, and agent-based migration for VMware and physical servers, as well as other public clouds such as AWS and GCP. Agentless migration simplifies the migration process by eliminating the need to install agents, reducing overhead, and minimizing disruptions to the source environment. Agent-based migration provides a robust option for migrating complex workloads, but needs an agent installed on the source servers, which helps ensure that necessary configurations and dependencies are replicated accurately. To decide which approach best fits your needs, refer to the public documentation that explains the differences. Today, we will walk through migrating VMware virtual machines to Azure using the agentless approach without installing agents on the source machines. This method uses the Azure Migrate appliance to discover and replicate VMs with minimal disruption to operations. Before starting the agentless migration process, there are a few prerequisites. Set up the Azure Migrate project and deploy the appliance in your VMware environment. Discover your on-premises inventory and assess VMs for readiness. These steps help ensure a smooth and efficient migration by identifying and addressing potential issues early. Also, cross-check the vCenter requirements and supported VM versions before you migrate. These are the steps involved in agentless VMware migrations. Once you deploy and configure the Azure Migrate appliance for VMware and complete server discovery, you can begin replicating your Windows and Linux servers. As an additional step, you can perform test migrations to a sandbox environment with no impact to production. This helps validate the migration process and application functionality before you proceed with the final migration to Azure. For this demonstration, we have already configured the appliance, completed the prerequisites, and are ready to proceed with server migrations. The migrations page provides a consolidated view of ongoing migration activities. Now, let's proceed with the flow for initiating migrations. To begin, click on Start Execution in the Migrations page, and in the Specify Intent blade, choose what do you want to migrate. In this demonstration, we will migrate servers from a VMware environment to Azure VMs via agentless migration method. You also have the option to import assessments to pre-populate configurations. We have already configured a migration assessment for Contoso application. However, for this demonstration, we will manually configure the required settings and proceed with VM selection to initiate replication. The replication transfers data to Azure, which can later be provisioned as an Azure VM. In this step, select the servers that you want to migrate. All the servers discovered in the project using the configured appliance will be available for selection by navigating the pages. You can select up to 10 servers in one selection. In the next page, specify the subscription, resource group, virtual network, and subnet where the VM will be deployed. It is also recommended to perform a test migration in an isolated environment to validate application functionality before moving forward with full migration. Select a test VNet for performing test migrations. Once environment selection is complete, configure compute settings. You can also choose to reserve capacity to ensure the selected SKU is available when you do the final migration. Then, complete the disk settings and configure disk type based on preferred options such as standard or premium. You can also assign tags for organizational tracking and alignment with company tagging policies. After you review the configurations, click Execute Migrations. Servers in different execution stages will be tracked in the Migrations page. During initial replication, these servers will be tracked as preparation until the initial replication is completed. When initial replication completes, data from the on-premises environment is transferred to an Azure storage account. Servers that have completed replication will be ready for test migration and will be tracked as testing. You can directly start final migrations on them, but performing a test migration is highly recommended. To do this, in the Migrations view, select a VM in testing stage and click the Testing dropdown and start test migration. During test migration, select the default virtual network or a different virtual network for testing, and then complete the test migration. Once the test migration is completed and validated, ensure to clean up the test migration by following similar steps above. Servers that have either completed test migrations and those in final migration progress will be tracked as completion. Now, let's proceed with the final migration. To do this, in the Migrations view, select the VMs in completion or the testing stage and click Completion and choose Migrate. When you select Migrate, you will be taken to the Migrate screen. This is the final step of the migration process. You can choose to shut down the on-premises VM to avoid data loss. When the VM is shut down, the latest data is migrated to Azure and the target VM is brought up. This step is known as cutover. It involves switching over to the new environment and confirming that systems and applications are functioning correctly. For this demo, we are not choosing to shut down the on-premises VM. Once migration completes, the VM will be up and running in Azure. During and after migration, it is recommended to follow best practices for validation by checking the VM, applications, and overall system performance to ensure everything runs smoothly. Focus on monitoring, tracking progress, setting up alerts, and integrating with Azure Management Services. Finally, document the process, validation results, and key learnings for future reference. This concludes the demo for the Azure Migrate agentless scenario. By following these steps, you can efficiently migrate your VMware vSphere VMs to Azure without installing any agents on the source machines. Thank you for watching this video.